Hey Michael, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I appreciate you sitting down with me today for a couple minutes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I told the girls before I had COVID all week, so if I sound like death, it's not your fault. It's
Oh
just been
no.
going on. But so I watched the short yesterday, and you guys nearly killed me with that kitchen scene because
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to laugh that hard at something called bites. Like you were the first one that I watched. I was like, all right, let me just check this out. And then the kitchen scene happens, and I'm like, my wife's like, what's the matter? I was like, I'm choking to death because this scene is hilarious. I was not expecting that at all. Like, how do you come up with something like Snatch?
Yeah, I love to hear that. I mean, right? Aren't the best horror moments or comedy moments what's unexpected, right? So that's great to hear. I mean, Snatched. Obviously it's a riff on Invasion of the Body Snatchers, although we don't have that IP, so it's not a direct riff, but it is that started in my hometown of Marin County in the San Francisco Bay Area, and the idea came to me in response to hollow statements made by political leaders and corporate leaders around the Don't Say Gay bill back in May, where they were sort of indicative of our culture where we, sort of virtue signal at ease, but then we don't take any actions to back it up. And I turned to my partner and I said, gosh, wouldn't it be funny if a kid came out as gay in a horror movie to his parents, but the horror is that they were over enthusiastic about it? And then he laughed and I was like, oh, that's a funny idea. And then I said, okay, well, what else can I subvert? What other tropes can I subvert? And then it just sort of spilled out that night. It was pretty easy to write.
Were you expecting it to be as comedic as it was, or did that just come about in the process?
No, certainly. I mean, a lot of my background is in comedy as well, and I've written a lot of comedy. So I like horror comedy. Horror and comedy are the two sort of visceral genres that produce actual physical reactions in audience members, and I think they go hand in hand so well. And so yeah, also a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. If you're at ease and you're laughing at the jokes, hopefully by the end of the movie it jolts you so much that you sort of question everything that came before it.
Yeah, because I remember like the first scene, he's like looking out the window, and I got like a rear window kind of vibe from it. And then you see like that body in the background. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, this might be something creepier. Then it
yeah,
turned out to be what it was, and I was like, okay, this is. But
yeah. But that
I definitely got the Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibe, and it felt like there was a little bit of Hitchcock in the beginning with the
totally.
rear
I
window.
love that, James. I love that you know those tropes, right? You know what those images mean, and you think they're going to go this way, so then let's go the other way.
Yeah,
Uh,
because my wife was asked, she's like, "What was it about?" I was like, "It's kind of like I think Invasion of the Body Snatchers has been remade so many different times. Like it's Invasion and it's Body Snatchers, and there's that TV show Invasion that was kind of the same kind of thing but different." But I'm wondering about the casting. Like, how did you get Tatiana and Brendan together to do this? Was like you just call them out of the blue? Because I mean, Tatiana's a huge star at the moment right
she
now. She's
is. I did not call her out of the blue. I so Brendan and I have had mutual friends for a number of years. We met at a wedding actually 6 years ago. That character is tricky to cast because you've got to be so funny and silly, and then that rage has to be really authentic as well. And those are generally two emotions that, different actors specialize in, not necessarily at the same time. And I, to be honest, didn't know Brendan and Tatiana were married. And Brendan shared the script with her. I wish I could say like I tracked her down, but the reality is, never in a million years, never in my wildest dreams did I think I could get someone like her to do this. And they messaged me and she just said she loved the script so much and she's wondering if I'd consider her for the part, and I was like wondering if I'd consider you. That is it. Put that on my tombstone. So yeah, I'm the luckiest guy in the world to get those two, and obviously Misha looks like they could be their son, their child.
same hair, definitely.
Same hair. I mean, if you actually Google Tatiana Maslany, like, images of her 10, 15 years ago, there are so many photos where you think it's Misha. I mean, they really, and we all share a sort of Eastern Euro Russian heritage, so it's not surprising. But yeah, I lucked out.
Yeah, this is the most noteworthy cast. I mean, obviously, I know Tatiana and Brendan, and I know Brendan from Lock and Key, but Misha, I know from Nose 402. I think I might have been one of the only people that watched that when it was on
Yeah, no, I hadn't seen it yet, but yeah, I know Misha's in that. I saw Freaky on an airplane last year and was like, who is that kid? That kid is so fun. And Misha and I also had a mutual friend who put us in touch, and I'm so grateful. They've been a great collaborator on this process, which is important to me. I don't. I want actors and crew members to feel that they have something to contribute and are empowered to contribute what they want as well, and they definitely did.
I'm interested in what's next for you as a director. Like, I know I haven't seen you do anything since the Peanut Butter Falcon. You know, I know COVID's kind of shut everything down. And
Yeah.
I was talking to Rebecca from Glow before, and I was like, I have a background in wrestling. Like, I started with World Wrestling Entertainment out in LA. So, like, I was always interested in that movie and just what's next for you going forward.
I appreciate the question. I have to correct you. Peanut Butter Falcon is a different Michael Schwartz.
Oh, it is really?
It is.
That's my mistake then.
No, it's all good. I've been getting it a lot the last year, so much so that I thought about changing my name before this film came out. It's all good, and I actually still need to see that movie. I haven't seen it. Yeah, well, in the immediate, I'm directing the Golden Trailer Awards this Thursday. I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
experiential director as well. So Golden Trailer Awards are the Oscars of movie trailers, which
I'm
I
a huge movie trailer fan.
Oh yeah, me too. Me
I'm
too.
probably the only person with them on their iPod, like the audio version, because I
Oh
listen to them
yeah.
all the
Oh,
time.
amazing. Yeah, so that's the immediate. That's this week, and then I've got a couple TV pilots that I love that are starting to make the rounds. One is called Senior High, which is about a group of 38-year-olds who find out that the hippie alternative school they went to, didn't give them a real diploma, and they all have to go back and finish high school 20 years later, which is super fun. And then hopefully get going on the feature version of this. I already have
Okay.
started mapping out what the feature story is, and hopefully it'll pour out just like the short did. I mean, it's a very as a writer, once you have a clear concept of something and you sort of understand the world, it's much easier to just let it pour out when you don't sort of have to investigate what it is.
So when the feature develops, you're going to bring back the same cast. Do you think Tatiana's going to call you like, "Hey, can I be in
Oh,
this?" Or
oh gosh, I hope so. It's hard to, once you form a bond with actors on set and who really get the tone. Obviously, as you saw, the tone shifts are so specific and so fast. And you really, I mean, the success of this movie is so much on their shoulders. They feel like a family unit to me. And gosh, I hope we can make the feature with them.
I hope so too. I'd love to see it. Do you think you're going to come back for Bite Size Halloween season 4, different short, something like that?
I'd love to. I pitched 4 different shorts to them. This was the first of them that I had written the night before, to be honest. And isn't that amazing that it's the one that they grabbed onto? But yeah, short horror stories are like tales, right? And you can tell them around a campfire. You can make little 7-word short stories. You can make short films. You can make novellas. I think horror lends itself well to the short form because oftentimes you don't need 2 hours to get scared. You can do it in a few minutes to really stick the landing and stay with you.
I think I told you the kitchen scene nearly made me cough to death. But the other scene that almost killed me was when they're in the back of the van and she's like, "Your father never takes me to the theater. He thinks Lin-Manuel Miranda is the name of the girls from Sex and the City." My wife really liked that one. I thought that was hilarious too. That little kid, that kid in the back was great too.
So stupid. Yeah. So Alex, who plays the Jewish character in it, is so funny to me because he has no reason for being in this story
No,
except he's just. But I sort of loved that. I loved having a sort of avatar for the audience who's just sort of wandered into this story, maybe kind of stoned, and is like, "What is going on?" And then he suddenly, by the end, gets defensive that, well, Miranda is one of Carrie's girlfriends on Sex and the City. So it's a joke to me that this sort of random character Sam wanders into the story.
But that's all the questions I have for you, Michael. I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with me today. I really love the short. I can't wait to
Thanks,
see if
James.
there's a feature version of it. I can't wait to see what you guys do next over there.
Cool. Thanks, James. Great talking to you.
Have a good one. I appreciate it.
You too.